What's up, guys, and welcome back to the Infamous Project. Today we're going to be deep diving into a topic of what is the average Fox body in 2023. With all of the recent auctions that have been going on, there's always talk of the high-end Fox bodies, the rare Fox bodies, the Cobras, the Selines, the 93 black on black notches, ultra low mile, all of these different things. But what about your everyday average Fox that you find on Marketplace, that you find parked in a driveway that hasn't been on the road for many years? What does that look like? Well, I've got one here sitting behind me, and we're gonna deep dive into this, what it is, why I think it's the average Fox body, and most importantly, well, what's the future of just an average Fox? So stay tuned, we're gonna get in. All right, guys, here is our topic of discussion for today. It's a 90 or a 91. We can check the door jam, but you know what? We're just gonna keep this high level. Why? Because, well, this is gonna apply to a lot of Fox bodies out there. So let's just take a quick look, and I mean quick, at the outside, and I'm sure some of you guys are already picking up on a couple things as you are watching this. So, start at the front. One-piece headlights. We got a cowl hood. We got Cobra grill insert. We have a 5-bolt conversion. We've got Cobra brakes that have been painted not well enough because you can actually still see some of the black from the underside. Cobra badges, your normal GT. We got quarter window trim molding covers. We have tires that stick out in the back, which alludes to the fact that it's probably an SN95 diff with a 10-inch wheel. In the back, we got some tailpipes that are sticking out the back with a Cobra rear bumper. So that's pretty much the outside. The inside of this car, we have what appears to be a black interior. However, we have gray seatbelts. If we look a little bit closer, we'll see some paint that's flaking off here. So we have dyed sill plates. I believe there's dyed kick panels. The dash, the seats, the door panels, everything else is actually legit black. So somebody has gone through the extent of trying to convert this over to a black interior car. Got some gauges down there. It's not a Fox body. Without gauges this day and age, or an average Fox body, probably a shifter, and well, that's about it. We got a door panel that's missing. We got miscellaneous parts everywhere, but that's the interior. So last but not least, let's check underneath the hood. So here we have it. We have Cobra intakes. We got a massive 1-inch spacer down there. What we're told to be a rebuilt motor, 306, whatever it might be. We got full exhaust, looks to be a manual steering rack, tubular K-member. You know, the bay is original-ish looking. We see a couple little cracks here, little wrinkle, so maybe we had a little fender bender at one point. And DOT replacement fender here, so we know this guy's been replaced. Steel hood, which is kind of a nice option. And, well, it's probably a pretty healthy sounding motor. In fact, maybe we'll start it up here towards the end of the video so you guys can hear what the average Fox body sounds like. So here we have it. We have a car that probably looks really good on camera in reality. It's a filthy car right now. And the reason why I've left it dirty is because the owner of it told me that when he went to pick it up, because like any of us, he found the car online, drove out there to go see it. It was getting dark. The car's white, which hides a lot. The car was dirty. And lo and behold, he got it home the next day. He washed it up, and then he started seeing a lot of the little imperfections. And if you look closely, you can see the bumper is a different shade than the fender. We can see, you know, some molding starting to pull away a little bit, Cobra emblems that chrome's peeling off, you know, our door molding down here. Probably quarter window trim you maybe would have noticed after the fact. Little crack here on the Cobra rear bumper cover. The paint is okay, but like even those door moldings, different shade of white. If you look at the hood real close, you can see tons of orange peel, or what almost looks like solvent pop slash some sort of reaction in the clear coat. So there's a few underlying issues there. You can see we got a gap in the fender. So if we look more closely, you can see the pinch weld is pretty much non-existent because it's actually folded right underneath the car, hence probably pushing out on the fender. So as you can see, there's lots of little things on this car, right? And I'm not trying to bash the car. I'm not trying to talk poorly of it. I'm just trying to give you guys a realistic picture of what an average Foxbody is. In fact, I think this is probably above average in this market. The reality is, despite what we see on the auctions, what we see on, you know, people asking on Marketplace and everything else, we all think we have this diamond that is called a Foxbody because the market is telling us that these cars are worth ungodly amounts of money all of a sudden, when in reality, this guy right here, to me, this would be a nice $5,000 car. That's my personal opinion, just based off that high level general approach of looking over what we just did right now. $5,500, that's where this car should be priced. And here is why I'm saying that. You have amazing parts here, really good foundation, providing that the motor is healthy, the reality this day and age, and I bet you this happens even with some of those low mileage auction cars that you see out there. In some cases, that's not going to be the original motor. Some of those really clean, original cars that we see, they could have been modded back in the day. Someone might have spent a lot of money to mod them properly, and some of those might have been converted back to stock. And I'm telling you this because I've personally put cars back to stock because they were so clean and so original, and the mods were actually devaluing the car in this crazy desired market for clean and original paint and all of that stuff market. But where does that leave these cars? Well, in these cars, the mods can actually kind of help the situation. Could you imagine if that was the original clapped out 302 in there with everything else bolted on here? Maybe there was tears in the interior, you know, still the drum brakes in the back, no upgrades whatsoever. Man, we'd be down at like a $3,000 car. So you could get this for $5 or $55. You're already up because you should have a pretty healthy motor. There is a cam in here. We're told to be 303. Sounds healthy, goes healthy. That's even a saying. Car generally looks great. We don't have, you know, rusted out, rotted out floors. We don't have rotted out shock towers, any of those things, but we definitely need a lot of cosmetic work here. And all of those things are gonna add up really quick. And that's what sort of happened after he bought the car. He bought the car and he was like, man, you know, I need to do a couple upgrades, want to get it running right, want to get all the interior buttoned up. You know, he went and did the LMR door lock actuators, which pretty much instantly failed, which I keep talking about. LMR, please stop selling your door lock actuators until you get them sorted out. We need to get the door panel back on. You know, new window guide bushings. We'll get some, you know, grease all of the regulator assemblies, everything else. Double check the wiring. We'll do some new armrest pads since these are pulling off. You know, new window switch bezels because these are all cracked. Black seat belts. Weather strip looks decent. Fix the ashtray. Actually, we're going to a cup holder in here. We're going to put actual black door sill plates, kick panels, and well, that's why we have these boxes right here. We got our big order in from NPD. We can open these up. We're going to go over all the parts that we're going to put on this car and get it cleaned up. If you paid $10,000 for this car and you're going to put, let's be serious, you could put $5,000, $10,000 into this car pretty quick. And we're not even talking about paint. We're just talking about getting the alignment correct because the tires are getting worn unevenly. So we need tires. We're probably potentially going to need some brake work. We need new quarter windows or restored moldings. We need to change out the headlights. We need to do a lot of things, all that interior stuff that we talked about. And I think there's, I forget how many, there's at least probably $1,500 sitting here in parts that are going to go on, plus time, plus effort, everything else, just trying to get the car right. And then ultimately, you're going to want to have to paint the car. Well, a good paint job, and again, don't care what anybody else says. If you want a really decent paint job, this thing, even if it's going back to white, would need to be painted or treated like a color change. You can't get away with a car this old and not go ahead and paint out all the jams and get everything nice and crisp, take the moldings off, take the weather strip out, leave the door panels off, get this all freshened up and cleaned up. So that way this car can go from an average or slightly above average car to a really nice car. Is it ever going to be a Barrett Jackson Meckham auction sellable car? It could be if you wanted to waste a whole bunch of money, but that's not the idea here. Like, this car is your average Fox. Motor has probably been changed a couple times. It's probably gone through some transmissions. We have all new front end suspension, everything else underneath the front. The rear end's been changed, the interior's been changed, all of these things. It's been driven, it's been enjoyed. Perfect street car, cruiser, weekend warrior, any of those things. And that's where we sit. So if you ultimately bought this car, you wanted white, you wanted a clean rust-free Fox, and you put another 10 grand into this thing, 15 grand, and you're at $20,000 all in for this car, but it's exactly the way that you want it, I would say that's not a bad deal. I'd say that that is really realistic. Now, if you had $20,000 in your pocket and you just wanted to go out and get a really nice, clean, original GT, yeah, you could find one. Chances are you're probably going to want to change a few things. So you're going to be, whether it's wheels, tires, suspension, maybe lights do need to be changed on that $20,000 car. Maybe they're yellowed or somebody put one piece in it, whatever it might be. Then you might be creeping up towards 25. So you want to buy one done, turnkey and ready, 25,000. It's not bad when you think about it. It is a car. There is value in vehicles, so to speak, right? So we can't say that a Fox is just worth $5,000 no matter its condition or anything else, because there was, hundreds of thousands of them made. There were, but it's hard to find Foxes that are on that upper end, upper scale, and that's why ultimately the market is higher on those guys. So that's pretty much my summary. Now I'm going to go ahead and open up these MPD boxes. We can go through those a little bit, see all the parts that are going to be going on here. I will be adjusting the lash on the valves. They're a little bit noisy. So we're going to go over those things on here. We're going to try and find plug wires that fit these. Actually, I believe these are P heads. So try and find plug wires that fit things a little bit better. You can actually see this wire is running underneath the the tube instead of from above, just because of the oddball angle on there. So we'll be trying to get the right plug wires, and we're going to try and fix this really weird clutch cable setup. I don't know if you guys can see that. There's like some weird plate welded in there. God knows what somebody did at some point. And this is the other thing about the average Fox. You will find really weird engineered things in odd places, whether people came up with new brackets for the radiator or did a really crazy battery relocate or tried to do a wire tuck, or you just never know. And that is one of those things that you just really don't know. We're going to be painting the engine bay in this. So, oh, look at that. See these little mounts down here? Bet you there was an MSD ignition mounted right here. That probably got cut out and removed, whether somebody was trying to, pull a couple parts off the car before they were selling it to make a couple extra bucks, or maybe the MSD unit failed. You never know. Maybe that was on the previous motor setup that was in here. Again, those are just little treasures that you're going to find on the average Foxbody. So we will be painting up this engine bay, motor in the car, and we'll be cleaning everything up, getting this all tidied, so that way when he does go to paint the car, the bay is pretty much already done, and it'll look as good as the rest of everything else that's on here, right? Because Cobra intakes, you know, newer AC compressor, 3G alternator, new radiator hoses, new aluminum radiator, overflow bottle, sending unit, like clutch cable. We have an upgraded master. Like, a lot of this stuff is new underneath here, just needs to be cleaned up, needs to look the part. So with that said, let me rip into these NPD boxes here. We'll go over a couple of the parts we got for this car. Then you guys will know exactly where this project is heading, and hopefully we can move pretty quick on it. I'll probably try and knock this out in a sequence where you guys can kind of see immediate progress on how this goes, little mini series style, and we'll go from there. We all know LMR, we all know CJ Pony Parts. If you don't know National Parts Depot, and I'm not sponsored. If they want to sponsor me, I'd love to be sponsored. Just, you know, I want to give credit to the companies that, you know, are just decent to work with and that get you parts for a reasonable price. NPD's parts, I find, are typically priced lower than LMR. The difference being you need, I believe it's a $300 threshold before shipping is free. So if you can hit that number, I feel like you're gonna end up saving more money. I just have to say it because I hate seeing people waste money this day and age. So there you have it. So we got new cup holder for the center console in black. Door lock actuators, window switch bezels that were all cracked. A good old friend, Daniel Carpenter, did not get his quarter windows, but we have his black kick panels. New under hood gasket. Actually, I need this for Jerry's car, but I've got an extra one. New door sill plates in black. Black seat belt kit, so that way we can get rid of those black belts and these will be nice and new. New belt tensioner, since that one doesn't seem to be doing its job properly. All right guys, so here we have the Scott Drake replacement quarter windows, and they only make them for the hatch. They don't make them for a coupe. They've been out for a while. They do not say Mustang, but they are a proper replacement piece. I have used these before. The studs are in there properly, and there's no weird air pockets or voids in the injection here, so we're gonna have no problem drawing this window against the body of the car with the studs, which is nice. Now, this rubber, I'm gonna say right now, I am going to prep this and paint this, okay? It looks nice now and everything, you know, you would think out of the box is good. However, we don't know if this is rated for UV. We don't know what the ultimate longevity is of this. So why wouldn't you take the opportunity? They're out of the car, prep them up, spray them with some SEM. And that way, all we're gonna do is two things. We're going to potentially increase the longevity of this to protect it from UV. And we're gonna be able to keep the color of this consistent with the rest of the trim, because the rest of the trim ultimately is gonna end up in SEM black. So you don't want the quarter windows looking like they're a different color or tone or anything else than the rest of the trim. So that's my approach. I'll be masking this off. We'll scuff these down. We'll prime them up. We'll spray them up and get them on the car. We got a 6-piece diamond clear headlight kit. So we'll be getting rid of those 1-piece headlights. I'm sure I'll find a creative way to destroy them so that they can never be used out in the public again. There's our pile of parts that we need to install. There's actually going to be a couple other things under the car that we're going to be doing, because the transmission mount, where it mounts to the body, so the actual mount itself is all jacked up. And I don't know if it was somebody who literally jacked on it, or God knows what was done, right? So there's brand new transmission mounts in the hatch. There's actually a bunch of other parts on the hatch that we'll be going through as well. So this is just the beginning of the GT project right here. Man, I love a GT, and I don't know what it is about these white Fox bodies. 1, 2, 3, 4. Everything in this shop is white. And somebody made a comment the other day, like, you know, tell us you love white without telling us that you love white. Well, the reality is, the only car in here that's really mine at this stage is the Celine car, which that could be yours. Thinking about selling that car if anybody's interested. So let's try and start this thing up. So not bad, right? The car idles really nice. It is on the factory computer. You can see, oh, we did have an airbag light, but the airbag light went off. Oil pressure gauge doesn't work. Despite there being a new sending unit, but it's actually not hooked up. It is going to probably the aftermarket gauge. So we'll try and restore the cluster gauge as well, so that we have both. You can hear a little bit of the clacking from the lifters in there. I personally don't feel like the lifters are too noisy. Like, yeah, you can hear them if the hood was closed, and especially if the hood had insulation, you probably wouldn't really hear them, but we'll double check them. You know, sometimes we want them to be on the noisier side than the less noisy side, regardless, but we'll get to that. Car sounds healthy, right? All right, so before I get it too fumey in here, we are going to finish this video, but hopefully you guys like the introduction to this. Hopefully you enjoyed the topic of what an average Fox body is this day and age. Guys, there are thousands of these out there. So when you find a Fox body and they're asking more than you feel like they should be, then keep looking. You know, you might have to travel a little bit further. You might have to be a little bit more patient. It is challenging. It can be aggravating to a certain extent, but with the market where it's at, I feel like there's going to be some pretty good deals out there to be had. And these are the guys that are going to come back down to more realistic prices. Despite what everything happened over the past couple of years and everybody asking more than they should because everyone was like rushing, like, oh my God, I need to get a Fox body. The reality is set in. And if you've seen Foxcast video, if you've seen Castle Customs video, if you've seen Foxbody FX, all these guys have covered market trends, auction pricing, all of those other things. And I guess I'm just kind of adding a little bit of my 2 cents to it. So there you are, the average Fox of 2023. If you guys found this informative, then I'm happy to do one on the elite Foxes of 2023, and then maybe like the shipbox Foxes of 2023 and what that looks like as well. I got access to them all, so I'm happy to speak on all different levels of Fox bodies. So again, thank you for your support. I look forward to the next video and getting on this project, and we'll see you here next time on the Infamous Project.